This side of the restaurant. You can sit anywhere you want because as long as you can see a TV, you can see the presentation, and we have great sound, and so you'll be able to hear it too. So seriously, if you want to sit on that side of the bar or down below, wherever you can see a TV would be great. I'm really glad that you're here. I do think this is record attendance. This is unbelievable. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being here in person, and welcome to our folks on the web. We have a couple of folks tuning in from YouTube, and yes, you do have to be present to win prizes, and the reason for that is several of us took months to deliver prizes for winners who weren't here last year, so honestly, we're just working to improve our volunteer burden, if I could call it that. I am Christine Hobro, your board president and email coordinator. To make sure that you get emails, my little plug for you is littlesandlakeaa@outlook.com. Make sure it's in your address book. And we've got some really exciting things for you today. We are going to continue modernizing the organization to continue to reduce the volunteer time. Somebody called this my little part-time job. I do have a full-time job, and I travel 3 to 4 weeks a month, and I take my computer with, and so we do a lot of work on the road, but it does, to run this nonprofit, it does take an amount of volunteer time that you'd be amazed at, and a big thanks to the board, and we'll call them out later. But what we're all about is modernizing it to reduce the amount of time so that it's just managed easier and we get more value and cheaper. So we're working that, and I think you're going to like to hear what we have to say. And I don't want you to freak out and go, another place to sign in. But I promise you, it'll really be good in the end, because we've got lots of people who say, can you change my phone number? Can you do this? Can you do that? And we can't do that very easily. And so now, once we show you today what we're going to do with the new portal, we'll be able to. So we've got lots in store for you today. This is the camera zone, so the speakers are going to try to stay in here so our friends on YouTube can see whoever is speaking. All right, so our agenda today, first of all, thanks to our Little Stand photographers, we take all the pictures that we use in the presentation from the Facebook page, and so thanks to those of you who've taken time to post them and get them out there, because it does matter, and we do update the website as well. All right, we've got a big agenda. I don't expect you to read this by any means, but we're going to do the normal things that we have to do. This is the annual meeting of the membership. Our bylaws require an annual meeting, and we will cover the minutes, the treasurer's report. We're going to dive into Healthy Lake and AIS and some of those topics with Magina. She's going to give a great update, and then we're going to dive into the online portal and show you how it works and tell you about the next steps, and then we'll have the normal recognition, election, and of course prizes at the end. All right, so we've got lots of great things. 2 important things for you to note. The keychain that you were handed when you came in, those came from a generous donor. It was not Lake funds that went to purchase those, but we thought that would be just a nice little takeaway for everyone. The newsletter is amazingly published by Amy Sorensen. Amy volunteered this year to help. Amy, raise your hand. Amy's over here in the green. Thank you, Amy. And Amy did bring some hard copies, so at the end they'll be on the table when you walk out. We've got a limited number, but if you really would like a hard copy, please be sure to take one. And then last but not least, the donations. All of these fabulous donations really were donated either by our local businesses, so please shop local, or we had a couple of donations that generously covered purchasing some more so that we could give away a lot of prizes so you continue to show up in person. All right. So we just wanted to make sure you knew that, so you didn't think that you were paying dues to buy prizes, because that's not what we want you to see. All right, so without any further ado, I am going to hand the mic to our secretary, Karen Netland, who is going to cover the minutes, which I did send you yesterday. Sorry they were a little late, but they were the minutes from last year's annual meeting. All right, here you go, Karen.
All right, thanks, Christine. So if everybody got any of these to look over, does anybody have any questions or see any changes needed? Anybody here?
So you moved to approve. Who moved? Thank you.
And your name, sir? Tim Wall.
My neighbor Tim Wall, W-A-H-L. I got it.
All right.
And then we need a second? Second? Okay.
Rob.
Got it. All those in favor?
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Opposed?
Okay, we're good.
All right.
Minutes are passed. Thank
Minutes
you.
are passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. All right. Thank you, thank you. Okay, now one job that we're really trying hard to reduce the burden, I don't spill my coffee, is treasurer. So I know some of you like to write checks, okay? I could give you a very long dissertation on, I'm a banker, I'm a long-time banker, I won't even tell you how long, because you'll do the math in your head. But I'm a long-time banker, and the amount of fraud with checks, it continues to go up. So in addition, I want you to avoid fraud on your own account, but I want you to help save our treasurer time. And if you're writing a check, we would be glad to help you pay via the website. It's really easy to do it. We use Stripe. It's encrypted. It's secure. Your information does not get transmitted straight across. It's all encrypted, I promise. But it really works well because then Jane doesn't have a piece of paper to post and take to the bank. Okay? So, and everybody here is a volunteer. So, without any further ado, Jane, that's my plug. Please give Jane Amble, our treasurer, a round of applause because it's a lot of work. The one and only, we're digging into this title as unfinished and ongoing because it always continues, right? But the one and only Magina Hallstrom.
All right, so I'll be talking about our Healthy Lake Committee, Eyes on the Water, zebra mussels, sediment samplers, decontamination station, loon and toxic relationship with lead, restore the shore, public launch inspections. Some of this I'm going to go through very quickly because of time limitations, and almost everything that's, this whole slideshow will be on the web, but everything else, the details, are also on our website, and I'll be posting some things on Facebook so you know what I'm talking about. All right, first of all, our Healthy Lake Committee, we have two separate groups. One that does water quality monitoring, and rather than go through each of those things, this is on the website, but they use this equipment. And anyway, and then we have another group that does vegetation sampling, and they go and they take the rake and they go dig some vegetation out of the bottom of the lake and they check to see if we have AIS. Again, the details, I have a table that I put together a few years ago that have all the details of what each of those are, but it's a lot of work, and we have some really dedicated volunteers that take care of this. So speaking of that, I'm going to have all the folks that work on our vegetation or our Healthy Lakes Committee stand up, and that includes Cindy, our COLA rep, and on the water quality side, we have Chris Sorensen, Larry Odegaard, Mark Doda, Rich Soderberg, Wayne Swanson. And is there anybody missing that works on this and we don't have it? Okay. On the vegetation sampling side, we have Marshall Howe, John Lund, Luann O'Neill, Wayne Swanson, Tom Johnson, Bill, and I forgot to put Lori down. Bill and Lori are new to the lake, and Greg and Tracy Dravis. And then we also have Eyes on the Water, and I forgot to bring up, well, where did I put that? All right. So the Eyes on the Water volunteers, we have people around the lake that hang these things up. I don't know if you've seen, if you haven't seen these before, this is your time to learn about them. But people that have it that I know of are Wayne Swanson, who also puts one out on our public launch, Rod and Char Westrom, Tony and Maggie Yerkes, Rob and I do it, Tracy and Greg Dravis, Karen Netland, Diane Smith, and Cindy Nolet. And again, if you have one, let me know. So what you do with these, you put them on your dock, hang them from your dock, darkest area you can find by your dock, about a foot from the bottom of the lake. And Then at the end of the season, you really don't have to do too much with these. This is a really easy thing to take on. At the end of the season, starting like late August, pull them up and just check to see if you have something in there. And in the newsletter, I had an example of what you might see if we actually have zebra mussels. And the one last thing, if you have these, we'd like you to fill out it's a survey that comes from COLA. It's called Eyes on the Water, and they just want you to report what you've seen and observed here. So speaking of that, I wanted to show you where we have our sediment samplers. The pink dots are where they are right now. The green circles are where we could really use some people. So I have 5 of these available for volunteers to come and pick up, and I want them all gone. So just pick them up, let me know who you are so we can fill in more of those areas. And if I'm missing something, please let me know. Any questions about this? Okay. Decontamination stations. Just a reminder again, if you go into an infested lake, well, it doesn't matter if you go into an infested lake, but if you go into an infested lake, they usually have that bright orange sign. Make sure that you decontaminate your equipment, your watercraft, whatever. The decontamination station here in Park Rapids is by the dump. I think you all know that. The information, again, on the decontamination station is on our website. There's also one at the Bemidji Middle School. Yes?
Is that free?
Yes. Yes, you might have to call ahead. I don't know if I can reverse this. You might have to call ahead to make sure they're there. They're supposed to be there, but I've heard at times they're not. So, oh, this one is there. Okay.
So it's important to note that this doesn't cost us anything.
That's right.
If you're nervous about it, it's free. Just go clean up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And it's a lot less expensive to go over to the dump than to have an AIS in our lake. Oh. Okay, just again, I wanted to emphasize, you see that orange sign, make sure you decontaminate your watercraft. And if you can't go to the decontamination station, then keep it out of the water for 3 weeks, 21 days, so that the vegetation or the animals die. And I think you all know we have Chinese mystery snails. They're some really lovely big things. Okay, this one again will be on the website. I don't want to go through this, but this is area lakes that have AIS. And if you go to these lakes, you'll see that orange sign. So there's a lot of AIS in the area. And we're not on there because these mostly count the ones that are most harmful to the ecosystem. Okay, just to mention this really quickly, I went through it last year. Using lead fishing tackle can hurt the loons. They dive down, they eat the lead, they die. So just want to mention that. Okay, restore the shore. It's important that we keep vegetation close to the shore. It protects our water. It filters the water before it goes into the lake. And we can order trees through the SWCD. And Wayne Swanson takes those orders in October-ish. And you pick up the trees in early May. Public launch inspections. I'll spend a little more time on this. Okay, so as we've been talking, the AIS inspections have been getting really expensive. But the other important thing is, we've talked about this every single year, we're trying to build up a fund above and beyond paying our routine annual costs that would come into play should we have AIS. And as Jane said, with the money we have now, that'd be gone in a heartbeat if we get AIS. So we're always trying to get donations to build that up. The launch inspection costs are paid by the state, and Hubbard County administers those and assigns the hours to each of the lakes that have public launches. And they generally will target lakes that are the most vulnerable. And I always say, like, think about Mantrap or Big Sand. And for us, those two lakes in particular are pretty important because we're downstream from them. And so we want them to have a lot of AIS inspections as well. So we're seeing a little more money going from the county to lakes like that, and that's not a bad thing for us. The other thing we're really fortunate about is that Lake Emma Township will give us a grant every year, and they give grants to the different lakes that have launch inspections. So in the townships, in keeping all our lakes in the area clean is important, and that's really nice. We like the grant. And then LSLAA pays the rest of it, and as I said, it's getting expensive. Reasons for the cost increases: increased labor costs every year. It's hard to get the launch inspectors. You know, if you think about it, they have to work on the weekends. It's not really an extremely high-paying job in the market these days. But again, another reason is we're getting less money from Hubbard County because they're putting the money in other lakes. So what have we been spending? This year we spent $61.75 for 200. Up in the upper right-hand corner. Our goal, ever since I've been on the board, which has been a while, we go for 472 hours total, which includes what Hubbard County assigns to us, what Emma Township gives us, and then we pay the rest to get that up to 472. So to the right of the numbers, you see how many hours we've been paying for. 23 was $55.75, 22 was $3,700, 21 was $3,000, 2020 was $2,370. So it's a lot. And one of the things I want to say about that is we've been letting you know about that, and every time we talk to people about how much we spend, they're like, we don't want to cut back on the hours. Keeping our lake clean, free of AIS is really important to us, and you all come through. We get just amazing donations way above and beyond the dues from a lot of people. And we need to keep it up. Thank you to those who do. So I just wanted to give an example of what it would cost if you paid just your share of what the AIS costs. So if all 160 properties on the lake paid an equal share, it would be $43, but they don't. They're not members. And we have 110, we usually have 110 members, so we need to keep working. We have to get our membership up. But if all 110 members paid an equal share, it would be $62. And again, there's been talk every once in a while is, should we be cutting back on the number of hours? And I never have heard anyone say, yeah, we're not spending our money wisely. We're not really opening this up for a discussion today, but if you do have a concern about that, let me know. Again, so extra donations are needed. Well, the $50 dues does cover our administrative costs and some of the, the watercraft, I should say the water monitoring, the lake vegetation, but the launch inspections and increasing our contingency fund is where we really need those extra donations. Oh, this was just a chart I put together, again it'll be on the website, of how many hours other lakes comparable in size to ours, and this is not a scientific analysis, it's just plugging in some numbers I found. And then at the bottom is how many hours go into lakes in the Mantrap chain of lakes. Okay, so don't forget to stop by and pick this up.
Dr. Jerry over here would like one on our end of the lake. Jerry Fisher. Thank you. Big hands off to Magina, please. Okay, now before we go into the portal, I want to talk for a minute about this. Hang on, Jacob. Oop, I got to go the other way. Okay, I want to leave this up so you can look at this. This has been really an interesting conversation. We've talked and even Cindy said, she put a map for Magina together of where AIS is, and you can see it's closing in because more and more of the lakes have it. Lake Plantagenet has an issue right now, and they're really struggling with what to do, because I'm just going to say it this way, our programs for a lake association, especially one with less than 150 properties on the lake, we're pretty advanced. Like, we're doing a lot that most lake associations aren't, because I don't know about you, but I prefer to keep it out of the lake. So before I joined the board, I had this notion that if we had AIS, well, the DNR would take care of that. And the DNR would, because there's a launch here, public launch, they let people in, it's their responsibility. Well, okay, the truth is, in case you don't know, and we have a lot of new homeowners, but the truth is the DNR will cover only a portion, and that's all they do. And if that helps, it helps. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And the rest is up to the homeowners who want to protect their values. And we've talked a lot that we don't own the water, right? But part of the value of our land and the $900 and some odd each foot is worth has to do with the fact that it's on a beautiful lake and there's not a street or whatever in front of us, right? So it is a lake owner's responsibility if we want to maintain. There is a lake in the area that actually went to their city council and passed a tax that goes directly to their AIS fund. I found that fascinating. It's not something we want to do, believe me. But I found it interesting that they felt that was the only way they were going to get their homeowners to give money. I know we've mentioned money. It does matter to us, because the more we can build up our fund, if we have an infestation, we can get on it right away. And those 472 hours, you might go, oh wow, we're a small lake, right? Well, when you look at this, and you can see it if you can see a TV, but you'll see our hours, you know, the acres of Little Sand are 410. We had 359 inspections. We had 219 boats entering. Now, that's a lot of boats entering this lake. I don't know if you knew that was that many, but it's a lot of boats that enter the lake. Maybe they come and go before anybody even gets up. I will tell you, we're here in the winter, and in the winter, you might be surprised how many people come on the lake to ice fish. It's a very well-known lake for high-quality fishing, and it's in demand. 2 years ago, New Year's Eve, there were 4 cars parked out at a fishing truck, 2 trucks and 2 cars at a fishing fish house, and it wasn't anybody that lived on the lake. And so it is in demand, and unfortunately, because we own property, we do have to care. So this is why we spend so much time on this, and this is why, thanks to Magina, we're reviving the Healthy Lake team, and we're so grateful for the people that volunteer and do that. And it's not a ton, it's not hard, but it does take some time. So if you have some time, let us know you could help out a little bit, because it does affect all of us. And those values that Hubbard County keeps taxing us more, those matter, although I don't know about you, but I'm okay if it comes down a little. So the taxes do, right? But that's why we spend so much time. We want to make sure everybody understands that this is really our #1 item, and it's what causes us the most. And Magina mentioned administrative costs. That team, that just really means it just costs a little bit of money to run our website. You don't run a website for free. Another fallacy I learned. I thought you just put it in the cloud and it's there, right? Not true. It costs a little bit of money. All right, so next we are going to cover the new member online portal. Okay. So right now today, if you want to change your information, and one of our members reached out and she said, I changed jobs, I can't use that email, and I need you to update my information. Well, it's in a paper booklet today. And the system that it's in, we no longer have access to. So we have to do something different anyway. And thanks to Karen and Diane for all the work they did. Diane on the website, but Karen to put it together. And Karen has been managing the monster of the address book for quite some time. And so we did a lot of research over the last year. We've been looking at this. And we are moving to an online portal. So if you have any other membership anywhere, or you've ever had a kid who's been in a sport or a school and you had to log in, it's very similar. The beauty of it is you will control your own information. You'll be able to update it if your cell phone changes or if you move. The beauty for us is that you update your own information. But also, the other thing is memberships are automated. So what'll happen is in January, we'll all get an email that'll say your membership is due. And you'll be able to click here and pay your membership, and you're done, and Jane's done. And so for us, it really reduces that. Yay, Jane. Did you hear Jane clap over there? Woohoo! Jane's excited. But the other thing is, this will allow you to search and find your neighbors. So Jacob is going to show us the technology. I want to make sure I hit on all the points. So we're modernizing, reducing volunteer time, if I haven't said that enough. You'll be able to update your own information. It'll have search capabilities, and it has a mapping tool. So this is the demonstration part. Now we want you to watch so that you get excited and learn, and then we've got several points of pieces where we're going to get you information and we're going to help you convert, okay? We're going to do it in small groups and help you convert.
Do you want to just go over the website information so we're all on the same page when we start?
Yes, what does that mean? littlesandlakemn.com?
That helps.
Okay.
It's up there, Mike.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Jacob Nolette, our technical wizard and website master. Jacob.
All right.
There you go.
Hey, everyone. All right. My name is Jacob Nolette. I took over this site a few years ago. So I help out with Little Sand Lake, and I do like IT stuff, kind of because I have a BFA in web and screen environments. So I'm a cloud infrastructure engineer, and I just like do stuff on the computer all day. A few years ago, my job, I worked at an agency down in the cities, and I did maintenance, and I automated the maintenance, and I guess I automated maintenance for about 50 or 60 sites for an agency down in the cities. So I've been doing WordPress sites. Our sites is what's called WordPress. I've been doing that for like, 10 years. I took over this site from Diane Smith and Karen Netland. Another shout out to them. They really had a great site before me, and there's a lot of content that's still on the site today. So big shout out to them for managing it before me. When I took over the site, I took over the site when Magina was president, and one of the first tasks that I did was working with Mark Doda, who was a director, and we made the first dues and donations form, which has been super helpful. It's substantially grown the general and AIS fund, and I think the majority of people now today are already using it. So thanks for that. Let's keep going. A little bit about me. Like I said, I'm a software engineer. So if you don't know, I basically, make systems so people don't have to spend time doing things. Like Christine's example, like depositing checks. I made a system so that we could collect checks in a more automatic way and not have to deal with that. So we're also looking for ways that we can reduce volunteer time for other tasks, just to kind of make the ship stay afloat without having to spend too much time outside of our jobs or whatever. So we talked about dues. We're actually today going to talk about the member directory. So like Christine said, before, Karen would collect emails throughout the year, phone calls, information from past dues, and then produce the directory once a year. It was a ton of work. And the cost for printing was a pretty significant dent in the AIS fund, and it was going up every year. So that's another factor here. The problem, though, is we had to get the directory digitized, which was a pretty big task Christine did, and then there was like a kind of a software engineering problem that I'm not going to get into a whole lot today, but one thing I want to mention. We didn't want to build it from scratch. And you might be asking, you use a software engineer, why doesn't he want to build a tool? And long story short, we would build it, but then as programming was upgraded or there was a security vulnerability, we'd have to maintain it. And we didn't want to have to maintain something for 5 or 10 years or every summer over the 4th of July. We didn't want to have to maintain this software
indefinitely. So we were really looking for a brick and mortar solution. We eventually sort of landed on some lifetime licenses. So through donations, we're mostly paid for and just
kind of running on plugins that have no year-to-year cost. And I do want to mention, the solution has taken about 3 years to create, just because of those requirements. We didn't want to have to build this from scratch. So that is sort of the backstory, long-winded, but now I guess you guys want to see it? Yeah. So, yeah. All right, so a little more context. Or here, actually, we'll come back to that slide. So I'm not going to get into all of the details right now. Something to keep in mind, we are going to be rolling this out in phases. So let's see here. The site is working, the directory is up, and most members, except for the last few weeks or months, are in the system. But we are going to be rolling things out in phases over the month of July and August. So you won't have access today, but I would say in a week or two, batches of people will start getting emails on how to log in. So there's a new page on the site. It's called Little Sand Lake MN/members, and I'll zoom in a little bit. It's /members. So littlesandlakemn.com/members, and here's our new members page. It's got a few links on it, and we thought, first feature of the day, we thought a lot of people might not know, one of the features on the site has been the social committee has a space on the site, and they actually have a calendar. So I'm going to show off on the members page. You can see here there's a link for the calendar. We can click that. And the social committee maintains a calendar of all their events. So I know a lot of you guys go to these, which is pretty sweet. I see the pictures on Facebook. You might not know the calendar exists, but there's also sometimes extra details. So for example, directions or stuff like that, you can actually click on Zorbaz Pizza Night, and it'll show the address. That's where we're here today. But for meet at the Dorset Trailhead parking. Let's see here. Roadside pickup usually has some things. So roadside pickup has some details about where to meet and that kind of thing. So you can go. This already is on the site today, but eventually you can just jump on the member portal, go to the social calendar, and jump into an event. So yeah. So the first.
Roadside pickup people.
Yep, we need people for that. So that is not a new feature, but so then we got the member directory. I want to give a big shout out to Christine. She migrated she created a gigantic database, and then I imported it, and here it is. So this is the member directory. You can see here all of our lake members.
Woohoo!
And it's searchable. So one cool thing that I learned, and we don't have a graphic for this today, but we'll for sure get a graphic up before lunch. I don't know if you guys knew, but I think Hubbard County has defined certain areas of our lake with names, they're named sections, right? I live where the old northern, or my mom's cabin is where the old Northern Star used to be, just up the hill here, and that's called Muskie Land. So one of the things you can do is actually search by. We have a lot of data here. You can search by Muskie Land. Search, and then it'll show all the people just in Muskie Land. Pretty neat. Like I said, there's a lot of data. A lot of pieces. We didn't throw any parts of the member directory away, but you do have to view the details here. You can see the link to dig into the people. So for example, and let me take a step back. Christine mentioned like let's say you get a new phone and you want to update the member directory because you got a new phone, your phone number changed, your phone plan, or you moved to your other residence and you want to update the directory. Right now, I'm logged into the site. I'm not going to show the login process. We'll show that off later, but it'll be on the member page, so you can click login, and then you can go to your record. You know, so we're the Nolette household. You can view the details, and then there's the full stuff, the full record. And because I have an account, I can actually edit my own record. So like if I have a kid that goes over 18 and I want to add them to the directory, or my phone number changes, you can click here, you can edit it, and then I'm going to update my phone number. Where is it? There we go. So update my phone number, then I scroll down to the bottom, and you can see we allow 4 lake residents, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. So then, it says entry updated. It gives us a confirmation. Let's go back to return the entry, and then you can see here my phone number is now actually my phone number. So, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, so we have, let me talk about what we're supporting. I think like HOAs and multiple family residents, they can have, there's a few ways we can do it. We can have multiple people as one member directory entry, or like for HOAs where there's like old resorts where there's multiple cabins on the same PID or property ID. They can all have multiple records, and I'll show that off in a second. But so like each family can have a record, or multiple people can be at the same address if you want to do it that way too. Like we can mix and match. But one record, one directory record can have 5 PIDs. So I think there's a couple of properties that have multiple properties, and I think we can support 4 residents on the record, or on the directory record. And there'll be a form for new people. Everyone that's currently a member is either in the system already or will be on the next database update that'll happen before we start launching. We just kind of got this data ready a couple months ago, and have been busting out features. So that is the member directory. One cool feature that, one additional feature to the member directory, we definitely know that some people like printing things out. So we actually made a printable version too. So you can see here, this is the member directory on the left side. Can you see my mouse? Yeah, you can kind of see it. You'll see it on the, and then on the right side it says printable. You can click printable. It loads pretty quick. It's actually 23 pages, so not too bad. And this doesn't have the full records just because it's condensed. We could make this better if there's a lot of demand, but this is just like kind of the MVP, the initial launch for the printable copy. And this is so I think it's the first 2 residents and the lake address. So you can print that out and keep it in your kitchen. All right. And then, all right, so we have another feature, and this is the way I think about this is, let's say you meet someone, like you meet like one of your lake neighbors at the meeting, and you're like, hey, I met the Nolettes at the lake meeting, and they said they were where the old Northern Star is. The sign's not there, and I don't know where it is when I'm on the lake. I'm on the boat. I want to figure out where is their cabin so I can like wave to them from the lake or something. So we made a feature for that. We call it the member map, and we took all the data and added push pins to the lake, so you can actually see this is everyone here. And what's cool is it's also searchable. So if you're wondering like, hey, what are all of the cabins on like Glider? You can type in Glider in the search, and it'll just update, and it'll show all the people on Glider. Pretty cool. And you can click into them, and they show just the lake address, and you can go back to the directory and grab it. So one other thing on that, one other feature. So I mentioned HOAs, or like multiple, where is it? Muskie Land. Multiple houses at the same address, or multiple people at the same address. My mom's cabin's on an HOA, so this is our push pin. There's like 8 cabins on one property. It's a little deceiving. I don't know if we can make it better, but you can click here, and then the properties show up, and you can kind of click around and confirm it. So that is the member map. Okay, so let me cover some stuff. Like I said, we're going to be rolling this out in like July or after, like mid-July and beyond. We're going to be doing batches of people just so that we don't get overwhelmed with support calls, but we're here. Not from people, but just like getting the directory in place. Like there might be some issues, so we're trying to manage the load. Should be good. Our directory is looking good. Christine did a phenomenal job getting the data all entered in, and then we just made it work. So let me see here. We do have, so like if you have issues, right, we're here to help, and there's a few ways you can get in touch with us. We also have email, and then we have a form on the site. So at the bottom of the members page, there's a form called For Support right there, and it's also at the bottom of every page now. So you can see there's a support link. And if you click them, they go to the same page, and there's a little form. It's pretty straightforward. This page is dedicated to solving your problems with membership and new features on the site. Type in your name, your email, your phone number if you want to use that. You have to do email, but you can also you can add phone number, and then you just describe your issue. And if you can explain it with as many words or as little, just give us a good explanation, and then you send it. And Christine and I get those emails, so we can jump on a Zoom call with you, or call, or even visit you in person this summer. I can visit you in person this summer. Christine's here all year. So that is how support works. Let me see here. Like I said, current members will be getting welcome emails in batches over the next few weeks, probably a couple months. They'll be able to access this members portal. They will they'll reset their passwords. Most people already have accounts. They just don't have their passwords. So they'll reset their password, and then they'll have access to the portal through the end of the year. And at the end of the year, we'll pay the dues through the online portal in the new system, and then so it's in preview mode now, and then next year we're officially launching it. So, does anyone have any questions or anything?
I can add a few points before we open it up if you want, Jacob.
Yes.
So, team, this might look simple to you. It's not. So, big thanks, first of all, for Jacob. This is just a lot of time. So here's what we did to convert your data. We took, thanks to Magina, she went through the county record by property ID first. And she verified all the property owners and took the information that we had from Hubbard County. And then she gave it to us. I put it in a spreadsheet. Jacob pulled off the old site comparing what your information was on the old site from the old directory. We took that program, and Jacob was able to put it in an Excel format so we could confirm. So we started with property property ID, and that's kind of where everything starts, is with property ID. Your neighborhood name, Muskie Land, all sorts of things. I'm in Miramichi. And then the ownership that we had. Now, if we had an email with a second owner, we may have put that person first. So all of your information you can change once you see it, but we had to load what we had. Okay, so, and we tried to keep up with all the changes that have come through email to the best of our abilities. If your information isn't correct, don't worry, you can change it. But again, we started with it, and you'll be sent what your user ID is, and then a password that has to be reset, just like you do everywhere, including the doctor, right? It's what we do today. But seriously, in my family, I'm the tech wizard, very different than Jacob. I provide tech support for my dad, my mother-in-law, his wife, whoever needs help. So we do want to help, but as I said earlier, we both have day jobs. So we're going to do it in groups of probably 10, maybe 15, and send the email out, and that's your chance to ask for help. Because then when we do the next batch, we'll be helping that group. I'm up here quite a bit, so is Jacob, so we can help in person. We can do a lot over the phone, though. It's not really that hard. And the cool thing is, it's optimized for your cell phone. Whether it's Android or iPhone, it's optimized for that as well as your tablet. So you can get at it the same way you do today, littlesandmn.com, on all the devices you do, and you'll be able to update your information on your iPad or your phone as well. You just have to remember to scroll and hit the save. So it's pretty simple in that regard, and I do think you're going to like it. I do think you're going to like the ability to, you don't have to print 27 pages, but you could save it as a PDF. If you want help learning how to do that, we can show you that too. But that's pretty slick, because then you can save the current directory on your own computer or device and always have it. That map is pretty slick, because we've met people and wondered where they live, and to find it in the old map was great, but the way that Jacob built it with the push pins, you can click on the push pin and you get all their information so you can reach out. So in the future, once we do this year, then next year I'm giving you a preview, what we're going to be coming back to you with is we're going to have, we think, classes of members, okay? And here's why. We're going to have property owners and non-property owners. We have non-property owners that are members that either don't live on our lake or live in town. And that's wonderful. We love those folks. But if there's a member search for our information, we want to make sure that it's somebody who paid and lives on the lake, so that we are trying to protect everyone's information from somebody pulling a list and doing a broad mailing. Because if you're good enough, you can pull the directory and you can figure out how to put it in Excel and do mailing labels, and then we get spammed. That's not what we want to see happen. It really isn't, and you can trust me on that one. So we're building in those safeguards so that that can't happen. Now, if somebody takes it and creates their own labels manually, we can't stop that, and they could do that today. But as far as the directory in the future, we'll have a members section, and the beauty of that too is after a presentation like this today, we redact or take out the financials. And the reason we do that is because anywhere anything on the web is searchable, and anyone outside of our lake could get our financials. It's not their business. And so we're happy to send you those financial pages once we post it, but you have to request that through email, and then I'll send them to you. But once we have a members section, we'll be able to have certain things available to members, lake owners only, which we're excited about that too, because then you'll have this information and you can go back and look at it. And you'll have it at your fingertips versus, excuse me, having to request an email and get it that way. So we're excited in the longer run what this will give you access to and things you'll be able to see. Even meeting minutes. We post the board meeting minutes, but they probably shouldn't be available for the general public, right? But we don't have a way today to do that without classes of members. So you'll see some of that in the future, and that just makes it even easier to keep all the documents in one spot. And then eventually, we're going to streamline email so the emails won't go into your spam. But again, littlesandlakeaa@outlook.com. If you'd make sure I'm in your email address book, then you'll get the emails. We tried MailChimp for a while, but what I found is people were able to opt out, and then they'd come back to me and say, how come I'm not getting your emails? Well, it's because you opt out, right? So that didn't work as well as maybe we thought. And apparently recently, Diane Johnson told me the format came across as gobbledygook. So I'm not sure how that happened, but I've been sending you two, so we're just going to revert to the Outlook, and then we'll smarten that up and go through this new portal as a way to do emails, which will make it even more effective because it'll go right to you. If you have new neighbors, make sure that you give them littlesandaa@outlook.com so they get us their information. And note, we only have 80 members. You might think that's a lot, but actually we operate on a budget of about 110, and we have about 150 properties. So anybody and everybody you know, ask them if they've joined. It's $50. It's a tank of gas, right? It's not that much money for what we think we provide to protect our property and have a network of people that watch out for each other. This group watches out for each other better than any neighborhood watch I've seen. Have you seen the bear pictures floating around? Right? The unfortunate part is I got them when we were at home, and so the bear trampled my feeders once again. So, Jacob, what else do we want to add?
That's it.
Okay, you did a marvelous job on it. So this email is going to have you change your password, okay? So just go to support if you need it. We're here to help you. We're going to do it together because our goal is to get 100% of everybody on the directory so that we know we can communicate with you and dues and so forth. All right, so how about a big round of applause for Jacob? So we've got some appreciation. So as I call out these folks, I really would like you to stand and give a little, parade princess wave, because volunteering is a big deal for us. If there's something you do and you want to volunteer for, raise your hand, like our first one. Last year, we needed a new volunteer to put the newsletter together because Luann, who had done it for so many years beautifully, had retired from the newsletter business. And Amy Sorensen raised her hand and said, I can help. She didn't really know what she was in for, but I think you'll agree with me, it's beautiful. So Amy Sorensen. She did it with a smile. You can't imagine how many changes we'd send. She's like, no problem. And she just sent it to us. And we do have it posted on the web. I've got one update that Amy sent that I'll get out there. But it is posted on the web as far back as we had them so that you can see those too. The directory, again, our good friend and board member Karen Netlin for the years of service. She's happy to hand it off, aren't you? Yes. All right, Facebook page. Oh, excuse me, website, Jacob. One more time for Jacob. All right, and the Facebook page, Randy Herda and Magina Hallstrom. There's Randy and back, thank you. Rondi, sorry. At County 50 Road Pickup, Larry and Renee Bexel. Where are you? Woohoo! And I do notice our roads are beautiful. Yes, sir.
We're going to have a road pickup July 2nd. 9:15 a.m.
July 2nd, 9:15 a.m. road pickup. Not the 3rd, the 2nd? Tuesday.
Did it say the 3rd? Yes. Whenever it says on the calendar, that's where it'll be.
Thank you, Renee. She's the finer points in the, thank you. All right, wonderful. And then the public launch kiosk and fishing tournament. Where are the Dodas? Mark, Nancy, and Ben. Thank you. Mark, longtime board member, Ben, newer board member, so thank you, Dodas, for all you do for us. And remember, we do have memorial plaques at the lake. The information's on our website as well, and Mark handles that. Mark, Nancy, and Ben handle that as well. So talk about generational leadership, right? The Dodas are passing it down to Ben.
Just to let you know, too, today we'll be putting the new memorial plates on. I just picked those up. We got a new place we're going in Fargo. Just easier than getting them from the Bemidji locations.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That's wonderful. They're putting the new plates up at the public launch today for all those that have been requested. They found a new supplier in Fargo that they're using. Sorry about that. All right, and then 4th of July boat decorating contest, and we'll come back to you all in a minute, but give it up for Adam Goebel and Rondi Herda for their sponsorship of that. All right, special thanks to our social committee, not only for the coffee to wake Christine up today and the donuts, but for everything they do all year. They start meeting just after Christmas and they plan the calendar. They encourage folks to have coffees, and if you'd like to host folks, it's not really hard, but it's a lot of fun because you get to meet a lot of people. So big thanks to Phyllis Trutna. Where Phyllis? Raise and wave. There we go, Phyllis right here. Karen Odegaard. There's Karen, thank you, Karen. Dar Swanson, thank you, Dar, over in the corner. And Vicki Johnson. Thank you, Vicki, thank you. And our loon chicks are hatching. Okay, they've already hatched, but something that we want you to know, big thanks to Dick Peters, Roger Hochsprung for the platforms, Steve and Phyllis for regular monitoring. And I'll tell you what, this is so special. I don't get to come but on weekends, and last weekend when I arrived to the singing of the loons. I'm just saying, there's no better sound than that. People, and I travel a lot of states, they don't even know what I'm talking about. It is really special, and my heart goes out to the folks that take such good care of our loons and our platforms. We were asked to let you know that the platform by Zorbaz, there was a new platform put out around the corner to try to attract those loons who normally nest right by Zorbaz out here. And I'm not sure if it worked or not, but if you know where those loons nested, if you would get to Roger or Dick, or just send me an email and I'll pass it on. They really want to try to get them on a platform and away from all the traffic of Zorbaz. Is that right, what we want to do? Yes, okay. So big thanks to you all who care so greatly for our loons. It's really wonderful. All right. Then the paddle awards. So Magina Hallstrom, come on up. This organization has a history of awarding a service award for people who give years and years and years of service. And so there's something in it. If you volunteer, eventually you'll get a paddle. But you have to be around for a long time, okay? But these are really nice awards. And this year we just finally decided to catch up. So we've got a couple of them here. Then Magina's going to talk about this. And as she calls out your name, you want them to come up, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so actually, I would like to have the Trutnas come up and the Odegaards come up. So, one of the things I want to mention before we do this, we had a gal in Gilmore that used to make our paddles. We'd buy a paddle from Fleet or whatever, and she would, what? Oh, anyway, she moved away and retired, so we had to find someone new to do it. And it was kind of fun that we actually have the DAC doing this. So these paddles are made by the DAC, and their artist group paints them. So, first of all, let's see. I'll give this to you and I'll let you hold it up. So, the Odegaards. Tell you what they've been doing for us. And I'm going to be listing things off, and they do more than this. But Karen and Larry, both Larry and Karen served on the board. Larry for 5 years at least as director, and Karen for 4 years as our secretary. Larry has been on the water quality team for at least 5 years, maybe and more. And Karen has been on the social committee for at least 4 years. And again, I probably missed some of the many things you all do. Oh, I will say this too. For many years, you co-hosted the pirate parties.
Oh, yes.
Okay, for the Trutnas.
Thanks.
They've been our loon monitors. They go around the lake, count our loons, and they report into COLA. So that's an official title for our lake. They've served, Steve served on the LAA board for at least 6 years, and he's agreed to go on again. Yeah.
Unless you'll do it, Larry.
And Phyllis has been our social committee chair for at least 7 years. So, now, you can stay here. Well,
Can we get a picture of you and then you
Yeah.
can go back to your seat?
and then actually,
Hold your paddle.
last but really not least,
I'm just going to take your...
but very, very, very overdue. I have to get the list.
You want me to take your two pictures back to your seat? 1 second.
Okay.
She's gonna get you a picture.
Okay. Right here. Okay.
Rod and Shar Westrom, would you come up here?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Come on up, Westroms.
Thank you for all you have done over the years. So,
Good to see you. Yeah.
I don't know why this has taken so long. So, long list here. These folks have been on the lake for a long time, and they've been doing things for the lake for many years. When I would come to this meeting years ago, Rod would get up and talk about things, and at that time it would be like, over my head. And so the water monitoring, he did that for many years, and he would give us reports at our club meeting. They've hosted many coffees and other kinds of events. Rod has been on the board. He was the COLA rep. As I said, he was part of the Healthy Lakes team. And they have a zebra mussel sampler on their dock, and they do the report of the eyes on the water every year. And here's something that, well, this is Dan Kittleson. He had to fill me in on some of this stuff. Remember I talked about the grant that Lake Emma gives us? Well, Rod was on the board of Lake Emma Township, and he was instrumental in convincing the township to start making awards to lakes to get the grants. So we thank you for that.
We do.
So I know I missed something that you all have done, but thank you for everything and for your years of stewardship. Long overdue.
Thank you.
And a picture there too.
Okay, hold on 1 second. The paddle's upside down.
Oops. So, there we go. That's it, right?
All right.
That might be a good time.
Okay. Oh, I know, you always bring up something.
I always bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up until I die. Wave runners, welcome to our lake, believe us. But you must stay in the middle of the lake and not anywhere near the shores. They roll off these big waves onto gardens and trees and all kinds of things. So try and keep in the middle.
Especially Baker's Point.
Especially Baker's Point.
Thank you, and you're right. And we've got that in our information. That's on one of Magina's slides, and it's on the website too. Yeah. All right, thank you. Okay, we've got social committee. We're going to talk about a couple quick things, and then we're going to do the election. Okay, this is your current board, and really this is a big deal. Mary Bradley wasn't sure what she got into when I got her into it, and said, "Do you mind just filling an open term?" And she's like, "Sure." And I think that first meeting I was worried she wasn't coming back to the second one. We do them on Zoom in the evenings from 6 to 8, and we use every minute of that. But thankfully Mary's going to re-up and join again. She's having so much fun and learning a lot. But it is a great learning opportunity about your lake. But Magina is the past president, Cindy vice president. Karen has been graciously our secretary, which I said really isn't much work. Sorry, Karen. Jane Amble is the treasurer, a job I can't do because I'm not a CPA, thank goodness. And then our directors at large, Mary Bradley, Ben Dota, Greg Dravis, Tom Johnson, and Jerry Kaluzny. A big thanks to everyone. Greg and Tom are rolling off, and we thank them for their service to the board, and Tom has moved on to the Healthy Lakes team. So big thanks to everyone for the time you give. It's a meeting quarterly and then the annual meeting. So anyone who's not involved, we'd be happy to have you next year, so we'd love it. And then I'm going to turn it over to Magina for the election of officers, and then we'll finish up the recognition and the prizes.
All right. Our slate of characters. No, candidates. Cindy Nolet. yeah, Cindy Nolet, first term as vice president. You're finished up a term, right? Isn't it? Okay. So she's already been a vice president for a year. Mary Bradley, director at large, first term. Jerry Kaluzny's is going on for a second term. Abby Schwartz.
Right there. Yeah.
Will be new to the board, first term. And Steve Trutna is filling in the directorship that Tom Johnson is leaving. So, are there any more nominations? Just making sure. Okay. Could I get a motion to accept this slate of candidates? Second?
Second?
No, I got it? Okay. Any other discussion? No more nominations? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Thank you to all of the board of directors. And by the way, if you don't mind if I say this, Christine has a huge job. I mean, I'm not talking about the lake president job is a huge job, right, for those of us who've done it. She has a huge job in her career. She's never home. And Cindy works, Jane works, or still working on their career, and Ben, hopefully I'm not missing anyone, but I just want you to know that if you're still working in your career, you can still be a volunteer and be on our board, because the meetings are by Zoom.
Well, and a big thanks to Abby and Ben. Abby's just starting her career. Brand new nurse, everyone. She just got her certification. So congratulate Abby. Abby and I met years ago. My daughter swam with Abby, and we got to know her family and realized after we bought our cabin that they had a cabin on this lake too. We didn't know that until we were comparing notes. But when I asked Abby a year ago, I said, hey, would you ever consider going on the board? Because we'd like to diversify the board, if you know what I mean by age. And she said she would. And the really neat thing that you probably don't know about Abby, but during COVID, Abby was in college, and Abby lived at the cabin while she went to school because she thought it was a better place to live than home, no offense. But she had a great time and learned a lot of really cool skills, and Abby's vested in the Lake Association too, so we're excited to have Abby. So next year we'll have a couple openings. It's a lot of fun and you really do learn a lot, right, Mary Bradley? Yes. And you get to haul out your 60s wear. I said to Mary, did you have that in your closet? She's like, yeah. I think I gave mine to Goodwill. I had to go to Kohl's to pay $2.49 for a t-shirt, just so I would do what I was told by the social committee. Okay, we've got a few announcements. All right, boat decorating leaders, Adam and Rondi, come on, move it out. We're gonna have them give you a minute or two, because this is a big deal for us.
All right, thank you. There's a lot of talk about paying dues and all that, but how about winning some money, right? First off, this is our first place trophy. Last year's winners. Rondi.
Okay, so our first place winner last year was the Bustroms, and second place we had the Kissers, and third place the Hallstroms.
Awesome. So last year we had 15 entries, and this year so far we have 5 people signed up. So we do have some flyers we're going to pass around. We want to get those in by July 3rd. Once you register, we'll give you a number, and then you'll put that on your boat so we can judge you based on that number, and then we'll get things announced that way. But so first place is the traveling trophy, so we'll get it engraved for the new winner. You also get $150 cash. Second place, you get $100 cash, and third place, $50 cash. The boat parade has been a tradition for a lot of years. This is just adding to it. Boat parade starts here by Zorbaz. This year it'll be clockwise, and the judging will be by the sandbar. All right, so we'll be passing around.
Judging, we do need a handful of volunteers for judging. So we can come pick you up at your dock. We'll have beverages and snacks on the boat. So you can contact me on Facebook is probably the easiest way, or you can send an email to the association to volunteer. And yeah, we probably need 2-3 volunteers at least for judging, so that would be awesome.
Perfect. How about if we get 25 boats this year. I'll match these funds and we'll donate it to the Lake Association. So. But yeah, thanks again for everybody from last year, and we look forward to doing it again this year. So.
And big thanks to Adam and Rondi for doing the work and coming up with the idea. So thank you two very much. And thanks to Napa Central for the prize donations. So we love it. So thank you. All right, annual fishing tournament, August 3rd. All right, anything you have to say about that, sir?
No, but, well, I'll stand up.
Hang on. I can't hear you on this.
Okay. I'm Mark Doda, and I've been doing the fishing contest for a while. I know it's been passed down from I think Jerry. Did you start this? Yep, Jerry started it, and then we had Larry and Renee. Anyways, it's always the first Saturday before Taste of Dorset. And yeah, we like to get those little volunteers right there. That's what it's all about. When they come and bring in those little sunnies and we can give them a prize, that's wonderful. So thank you for always coming down.
And thank you for leading it for us. All right, so this is why we're in our flower power. The theme of the party is hippie theme. So bring your flower power, and big thanks to the Isaacsons for being willing to host this year. So thank you very much. Isaacsons giveaway. Thank you. Love it. All right, and a new contest this year. Did one of you want to say something about it?
Really quick.
We're starting our first photo contest. We've got such a picturesque area here, and we want kids to get involved. And so there's a 13 and under category, 14 to 18, and then adults. There will be a winner chosen by judges. We'll have a team of judges in each category, and we're also going to have a People's Choice Award where you'll vote on Facebook for that. All the details haven't been ironed out yet. Watch your emails for that information, but we're excited about it. There's going to be some rules. It has to be either on the lake or within 5 miles of the lake. But the rest of that will be sent to you shortly, and it'll also be on our Facebook page and our website. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to Jane and Cindy for doing that. All right, a new business owner page is coming, so if you own a business and you want your logo out there, there's no charge. Email littlesandlakeaa@outlook.com and let me know if we don't already have your logo. We'll get you out there. We plan to make those hot links so you can link right to your webpage, but we thought that's the least we could do for each other is promote each other's businesses too. All right, that's what keeps paying your dues. Okay, here's our little doodle at the Dairy Queen when she was getting her birthday treat. Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Jane, thank you. A second. Abby seconded. Thank you, Abby Schwartz. All right, the meeting is adjourned. Again, my thanks to you. We have 91 people here. That's the most we've ever had. So thank you for showing up today. It really means, it's huge. And our Zorbaz owner's not here today. Big thanks to Rob for joining us, but Rob is at the Zorbaz annual meeting for owners and operators, so he's not here, but he wishes he could, but he left the key under the mat and we were able to get in. I do want to show you these. These are all the businesses that donated. So Compañeros, Napa Central, Greet and Gather, the Little Dorset, the 218. The restaurants have been very generous with us. La Pasta, Meadowbrook, Tippy Canoe, Gartner Real Estate, Dorset Corner Liquor, Amped Advertising, Revel Brewing, Cedar Swan, Wood Shop, Dorset Books and Candy Shack, Birdies, Mini Golf, Tavern 203, Molly Poppins, Good Life, Muskie Waters. Larry and Karen Odegaard donated. Their granddaughter makes shirts and our logo, and a special thanks again to Jacob and whoever took that picture. I love. It really is priceless. We could not afford to pay for the tech support that we get, period. And then again, Rob and his team here at Zorbaz. And in fact, Rob let us bring the TV in thanks to the Hallstroms, so we'd have really high quality for you to watch. All right, so without any further ado, it's prize time. And we're going to try to do some running for you.
Okay, thank you. We've got lots of wonderful gifts, and there were 2 additional donors this morning from the lake that I want to acknowledge. Ken Thompson from Budget Exteriors and Mike and Mary Nelson. So please thank our business owners and show them some appreciation and love. These are tough times. I think that many of these people are seasonal owners and really depend upon all of us as well. So thank you so much. A couple of things. I also wanted to mention Angela Albee is not here this morning, but I told her that I would take a moment to mention her business, which is Amped Advertising. And Angela is always very generous to us in her donations and donated some amazing things today. Angela can do lots of different things. She takes one of the Little Sand logos. She can take any of your logos and do really t-shirts, totes, lots of different things that you'd like. So I have some business cards for Angela and many of the businesses out on the front table. Feel free to grab any of those, and you can contact her if there's anything that you'd like to do. So with that, what we'd like to do is just go through. We've got tons of wonderful gifts today, and if you wouldn't mind standing, we'll have a couple different runners to try to keep things going pretty quickly. So we've got a couple of really fun donations today from Ken Thompson with Budget Exteriors. We have a teeny weeny little Stars and Stripes bikini and a flamingo that you can put in your yard. So,
Okay, you ready?
You ready?
Oh, you can use that for both.
We have Ben Corwin, who's our new neighbor, but I think he has a daughter that might fit into one of the bikinis. So Ben, welcome to the lake. Sort of a perfect choice there. Okay. We have a great T-shirt from Larry Odegaard, and again, you are welcome to order. It's a golf polo shirt, and you can order from Larry, and that goes to Rachel Fisher. Woohoo! See? Thank you. We have a gift card here donated by the Little Sand Lake Association to Dorset Liquor for $20. Rob Westrom. Another donation from Little Sand Lake Association for Tavern 203, who was extremely generous to us, folks, for $15 to Ben Doda. Another donation from Little Sand Lake Association to Companeros for $20 to Deb Moeller.
Nice. Okay, where's Deb? Right there.
Okay. This is a fantastic tote from Amped Advertising. This is one of the totes that Angela donated, several of them that we'll be using. I should say that all of our donations were divided between this meeting, the fishing contest, and the picnic. And this goes to Jean Soderberg. Thank you.
Come back that way. Oh.
Donated by Little Sand Lake Association, Zorbaz gift card. Oh, there we go. Oh, Jerry Kaluzny. This is another amazing donation from Angela Albee with Amped Advertising. It's it's really, really nice. It's a Eddie Bauer Little Sand Lake jacket. It's fleece lined, it's super nice. And that goes to Lee Macklem.
I need your email, Mr. Macklem. I need your email before you leave today. Please. I keep getting rejected.
Dorset Liquor, Missy and Craig Rossman were extremely generous to our Lake Association. We're really grateful. Dorset Liquor, $25 to Luann O'Neill. This was one of our anonymous donations, and this is a really nice, heavy-duty, extra-large men's hoodie that was put together by Angela Albee last year, but it was by an anonymous donor. And that goes to Dan Jacobson.
Hey. Oh, there it is.
Oopsie. Another donation from Dorset Liquor. Thank you very much, Dorset Liquor, for $25 to Janice, is it?
Peters.
Janice Peters, thank you very much.
Janice. Here.
One of our other very, very generous donors this year, you guys, was Venture 218, and major props to the gals that started that restaurant. They were just extremely generous, and I just can't tell you how gracious they were and wanted to express their gratitude to all the lake owners for supporting their business, and they donated a lot. So please, if you go to that restaurant, please thank them very much. This is one of the many donations they gave us. They gave us a lovely 218 Venture sweatshirt, and that goes to Todd Moeller. Todd Moeller. Yep, I love this. I wanted to lift one of these myself. This is from Rondi and Adam. It's a Napa bucket filled with just amazing goodies. A sponge, all kinds of boat cleaning supplies, lots of cleaners. It's extremely generous, and they donated 4 of these fabulous buckets. So we have 2 of them here, and then we have one for the fishing contest and one for the picnic. So the first one goes to Marsha Vance. It's very heavy.
Where's Marsha?
Okay.
Okay.
This is really fun. This was from Dorset Books and down the road, and Candy. And I wanted to tell you, I had a really lovely conversation with the owners of Dorset Books, and they again just were so grateful and wanted me to let you know that their merchandise changes with great regularity. And they said that they're open to lots of ideas if there are things that we want. And this goes to Carol Winkowski. Thank you very much. Okay. Tippy Canoe, another generous donor, and this is for $20 from the Little Sand Lake Association to Mary Bradley. Lots of fun things there. Okay. This is from the Little Sand Lake Association, a Little Sand mug and a Little Sand can koozie to Diane Smith. A Companeros gift card or gift certificate for $25 donated by Companeros.
I'm sorry.
To Renee Bexell. Let's see, this was donated by Meadowbrook, and it's a Little Sand mug. Mary Bradley. Again. Oh, Mark Bradley. I'm sorry, Mark Bradley.
You can only win once.
Donated by Little Sand Lake Association, La Pasta for $20 to Sue Anderson. Donated by Little Sand Lake Association, Little Sand Lake note cards, and a deck of playing cards. Jennifer Ekman.
And remember, when she says Little Sand Lake, that was the generous donor that donated funds to buy it. It wasn't our budget.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Revel Brewing, another generous donor with Little Sand Lake Association, and that is Greg Johnson.
Where's Greg? Where's Greg?
Little Sand can koozie, and a couple of things from the DAC, a loon note cards, fire starters, and a t-shirt, and that goes to Ann Kaluzny. A Little Sand deck of cards, can koozie, and DAC fire starters. Punky Catlin. I didn't see Punky either. A gift certificate to La Pasta for $20. John Lund. Tippy Canoe donated a Tippy Canoe hat, and that goes to Steve Fisher. We have a Dorset House gift card for $15 and a Little Sand hat. Jane Amble. This is donated by Greet and Gather in the Little Dorset shop. It's a print coaster, a gift card, or gift certificate for $15 to DJ Raduance. Reduns. Sorry about that.
We're at the bar, man.
Reduns. Okay. Companeros gift card for $15 and a Little Sand hat to John Kisser. Popcorn and seasoning from Little Sand Lake Association donor. Shelley Johnson. We have a Little Sand insulated tumbler for Bangina. It's really nice. Can always use. We have a Loon mug and a $15 gift card to Espresso 34. Oh, Abby Schwartz. You need that coffee. We're getting there. A Little Sand, or a candle from Little Sand Lake Association donor.
I'm coming.
Denise Kisser.
Okay, and last.
And the last but not least, another one of these fantastic Napa buckets. Cindy Tissue. You'll use this. It's very heavy. And thank you very much.
All right, that's a wrap. So thank you everyone for coming. We're really nice to see everyone too. So thank you, have a great day, and we'll watch, oh yes?
Plenty of rolls left.
Oh, there's plenty of rolls, so take a donut or two to go. And there's some newsletters on the table along with flyers for the boat contest. Thanks everyone. Just push your chair back in and take your trash so we clean it up for Rob's team. Thank you.